For those of you who are actively trading on Robinhood, stop it right now until you've told me that you've at least done this, because it could potentially save you thousands of dollars in taxes. I'm Professor D. Lee with answers to your most pressing personal finance questions. I personally have no problem with Robinhood, the app. They make it super easy for you to trade. Trading is free. And so from an overall perspective, I think it's great. The problem is that every time you sell a stock for a profit on Robinhood, you have to pay either short-term capital gains tax or long-term capital gains tax, and there's no way to avoid that. And I bring this up because I've been fielding a lot of questions on ways to reduce your capital gains tax. And there's really 4 ways to do that. 3 pretty bad ways, and 1 I think is a good way. The first one is you can offset it with losses from a trade. So if you lost money on a trade, then the gains can be offset, but it's not the best option because that means you had to sell something for a loss. The second way to reduce taxes is to give the stock away. Then you don't have to pay tax on it, but then of course you have to give it away, and so probably not, again, the best option. The third way to avoid capital gains tax is, I'm not suggesting anything here, but the way that the law stands now, if you die, your cost basis gets what's called a step up, which basically means that your heirs won't have to pay capital gains tax on that. 1, you can offset it with losses. 2, you can give it away. 3, if you die, you don't pay taxes, but not the greatest of all options. There is this 4th option though, which is to invest in a Roth IRA. The investments in a Roth IRA are never taxed. So they are not taxed for short-term capital gains, they're not taxed for long-term capital gains, it's not taxed by the federal government, it's not taxed by your state. If your investments pays interest or dividends, that's also not taxed. Distributions, as long as they're qualified, also not taxed. So it's a great option if you're trading actively, because you don't have to, 1, worry about tax, and 2, you don't have to worry about short-term gains versus long-term, and you're trying to hold off for a year to get that lower tax rate. You can sell and buy stocks whenever you want. Which gets back to my issue with Robinhood, is that they don't offer a Roth IRA. A few rules around Roth IRAs. 1, you're limited to a contribution of $6,000 per year, and that is due when you file your taxes. So you can still contribute for 2020 as long as you haven't filed your taxes, which most of you would not have because we haven't gotten all the tax forms just yet. 2, there are income restrictions. If you're single and you make over roughly $120,000, or you're married filing jointly and you make roughly $200,000, then you don't want to contribute directly to a Roth IRA. You'd have to do what's called a backdoor Roth contribution method, which I'll provide a link below to a blog post that I wrote about in executing that. Lastly, there are withdrawal restrictions. If you make a direct contribution so you're under that income level, the contribution amount, if you contribute $6,000 for example, you can withdraw that anytime, no penalty, no tax. The earnings, however, must sit in your account until you're 59 and a half. And so, assuming you're not close to 59 and a half and this money that you're investing is for a short-term goal, you certainly don't want to use a Roth IRA. Last heat of unsolicited investment advice. I recommend that the majority of your investment portfolio should be in a broadly diversified basket of stocks and bonds. The best way to do that is to use a low-cost ETF or mutual fund. But I do find that many people these days want a little bit of pocket money, play money that's maybe not more than 5 to 10% of their savings or investment portfolio. That to kind of play around with stocks, to kind of scratch that itch of picking stocks. That's okay. But again, you don't want to risk more than 5 to 10% of your portfolio because actively trading stock is one, risky, and two, studies have shown that you'll likely lose money than to earn money. So this is really more of a entertainment purpose than to really actively grow your money more than what an index fund would provide you over a long period of time. So if you got anything out of this video, if you're actively trading stocks, tax-wise, it would be more beneficial to do that in a Roth IRA instead of your Robinhood account. Roth IRAs can be opened pretty much at any traditional custodian, Schwab, TD, Fidelity, which all offer free trades now, by the way. Their app is not as cool as Robinhood, but it'll do. If you found this video to be helpful, make sure you like and subscribe. And make sure that you subscribe also to my monthly newsletter so that you can get what I've been up to and my best ideas right into your mailbox. I will see you all next week.